Hey there, welcome to the video. In any video you watch on YouTube, especially on this hot button topic of trading for income rather than growth, it's always important to ask the question, why am I listening to this person, right? So that's the point of this video. There are a lot of people that just like to throw videos out there, and they're great. I watch some of them some of the time, but they're just saying, this is my video, please watch it and give me looks or views or whatever. This is not that video. I'm not just throwing out a portfolio video. I'm trying to help you answer the question, why listen to me? Of all the videos, why listen? And maybe this is good enough, maybe it isn't. That's up for you to decide. But the truth is, my portfolio's made just a little over $4,700 in income only last month. Now, here was the last update. Again, just to make it worthwhile for you to watch this video or not. But this is where we were at. We could see monthly income was growing, which is the whole point of this particular section of my money. It's going higher. Now, this one dipped, but then it took off, right? And that's just because of how many Fridays. A lot of these high income ETFs get paid or pay you out on Friday. We get paid on Fridays. And if there's one less Friday, or if there's any change in the calendar configuration, then sometimes you get a dip even though you haven't dipped anything. And I say that nothing's dipped because look at the very next month, right? May was my all-time high. That's the most income ever created. I'm not taking any of this. I'm just reinvesting it. I want to see how high I can get this to go. And so then I can use it. Again, there's going to be tons of videos on this particular subject. But anyway, that was the last update. Now, here's the income rising up to this month. You can see that income is still rising. There's that big May, and then it dipped back down. Okay, right? The difference is Friday. However, notice this would have been the highest of all time. So it's still growing. And then the following only had 4 Fridays, and again, it would have been the highest of all time. And then, of course, August, as everybody knows, you had multiple Fridays or an extra Friday, and it was at the all-time high, just over $4,700. Again, the point of all this is to have it go up. Now, what's interesting is that with the 5th Friday, a lot of people who trade this way had a great month. But one might think it could have been better. Well, guess what? The VIX is down. I'm not going to bore you with what the VIX is, but it's volatility. And if the VIX goes down, the premiums go down. So it was a rough month. This was really a bad month, truth be told, for income. The VIX is down. A lot of the single stocks ETFs are down. Something like Coney paid out its lowest of all time. Misty is not paying out high anymore, at least lately. So all of those are problematic when the VIX goes down, and the VIX is really the cause of it, all right? And the share price going down too. Nonetheless, because of the reinvestment and because of the money that's going into more shares and more shares, it still was a record. I thought it would be higher. This is a disappointing month, and it's still an all-time high. So I'm actually happy about that, okay? Now, why am I even doing this? Because I've been trading pretty much full-time. It's been on my mind full-time since 2004, and it's just occurred to me within the past year and a half that what if I've been doing it wrong the whole time? What if instead of trying to pick the best stock or create the best system or create the best robot, what if I just wanted actual money that comes into my account? So many videos that say distributions don't matter. I think they do. And there's going to be a whole series of videos on this. I've been going down the deep, dark hole of research, and I think you'll enjoy those coming soon. But it's about what can I actually use in real life. Keep that in mind. Okay. So, for example, let's just say QYLD. Nobody likes QYLD. But if I had decided to do this earlier in my life, rather than chase trading systems, rather than chase any sort of growth, this would have been my yearly income. If I had just reinvested it, I hadn't needed this money up to this point. And by the end of 2024, on 100K, 25,000 would be coming in. I could use it all, and maybe the principal would fall. I could use a portion of it, and maybe I would actually have more money. Nonetheless, I have this. I don't need to say, oh, I hope SPY goes up this year so I can eat. No, income would have been coming in. Which would you rather have? Something sitting in SPY, a whole bunch of money sitting in SPY, or money that you could choose to take or not? I mean, that's the question. I'm not saying anything's right or wrong, but that's the question. Or if you did SPY-I and QQQI, which are the latest rage, everybody loves SPY-I. Well, look, the income would be growing, would be over just a few years, just not that long of a time period, be over 15,000. So almost reached QYLD in just a short period of time. So would you rather have this, or would you rather have paper profits or paper losses on the SPY? That's the question. So there were questions last time. Here are some answers. What size account? It was about 110,000. So you can do the math. It's about a 40% yield. I like that. I'd like it to possibly be more. Again, we'll talk about more in the future. How many accounts? There are 4 different accounts. I combined 2 together, so now there's only 3. 1 very large one and 2 little ones that I'm experimenting with, but still collecting income. What's the total return? I really don't care. Not because I'm ignorant, putting my head in the sand, but it's not about total return per se. It's how can I actually live? And I'm going to do a whole series on this. Not on total return, although it matters. But what really matters is, can I pay the mortgage or not? Right? But keep this in mind. Total return on SPY. If you're just thinking about growth, well, there's the spider from the spider SPY, January 2000 to September 2011. So that's a long time, right? 12 years-ish. And there's your total return. You had 100,000 and now you have 94. What's that about NAV erosion? People love to talk about income ETFs having NAV erosion. Well, what's that? It's NAV erosion. Okay? And that's over a decade. And that's on beloved SPY. Okay? So people get very interested in arguments, and I don't see anyone talking about real life. They might be, and I hope to find those videos. Please let me know. I'd love to have intelligent people talking about how to change our lives, but that's nothing, right? That's absolutely garbage. Here's the total income. Well, remember, SPY pays a dividend. We're up to $1,500. Woo! $1,500 a year. Well, it's a little more than that, probably. That's big money. So we got that going for us, which is nice. Now, total return. Well, these stocks erode, right? Well, if you add up the distributions and the actual share price that increases or decreases, the overall portfolios for all of them are up. Annualized return of 14.6. Pretty good. I'm not trading it for that. I'm trading it for real life money. But I don't see the NAV erosion there. Again, it's not 2000 to 2011, but there you go, nonetheless. And again, that's SPY or index fund total return advantage, question mark. Well, how do I spend no money from 2000 to 2011? But on the other hand, how do I spend $4,700? Well, I have choices there, right? And this is all about choices, at least it is for me. Even if the market goes down, which everybody says it's going to, as we sit here in September 2025, even if the market goes down, money's coming in. If I sell shares when the market goes down, it is massive trouble. Massive, like bye-bye, right? Again, I'm going to talk way more about this, and we've talked about it before, sequencing risk. And if you start in the year 2000, which people are making comparisons to AI craze and .com craze, it's everywhere. Is it different this time? Kind of, but this is what people are hearkening back to, 2000, 2001, 2002. If the internet, which is the greatest thing ever invented, crashes, we're in big trouble, potentially. If AI, the biggest thing we've ever seen, crashes, you fill in the blank. Anyway, if you withdrew $40,000 or $40,000 from a $1 million portfolio, you can see that this is SPY. $1 million turns into $539,000 in just a few years. Again, what's that about NAV erosion? That's NAV erosion, right? But if you have cash coming in, and this is, again, the example, just J&J. It's not even a good income-producing instrument. But it does pay out, and it hasn't fallen nearly as far, right? It's only down about 12% rather than fallen. And in the end, J&J actually catches up and pays the bills, which we talked about last time. And this is the sequencing risk. It's 1 million that turns into 357,000 by 2009. Again, you want NAV erosion, I give you the SPY. All right. So result, going for growth and total return, because we're supposed to go for growth, right? Total return growth, total return growth. SPY turns into 357,000 from 2000 to 2009. That is a death spiral. I'm going to show this in dramatic detail. But once you start pulling money out of a growth situation, it hits a certain point, it's going to zero. People like to say high income's going to zero. That may or may not be the case. You get too far down in SPY when you're withdrawing, you are going to zero. And that's a fact check. By going for income, even with a feeble dividend stock, as I showed, you can have more money and an income possibly forever at some point. Okay. If you don't need the money, or I don't need the money, here's one thing about high yield. It can mimic or beat the market. We've seen that. It can hang in there really nicely and sometimes beat it by a massive amount. So you can use it for that because money's coming in and you're just buying more shares. Personally, I want money. I want to start using this at some point. I want to stop doing other things and start doing different things, and I need money to do that, and I don't want to sell shares. So my first goal is to have income that's 2 times my monthly expenses. I actually want it to be much more than that, right? The more it's above monthly expenses, the better, right? So let's bottom line. I'm very sad. I remain sad every day. I didn't start investing for income earlier because once you invest for income, you can use that income to buy growth. You can always build your principal back up later once you have the money. Just another way to think about it, right? It's not for everyone. There's certain mindsets that absolutely do not want it. They don't want any of this high income NAV decay, right? They want comfort in SPY and SPY-I. We just showed that. Well, anyway, you know what we showed. But regardless, if it can beat the market in some cases and in current cases provide income that can change our life, isn't it worth investigating? And Michael Scott agrees. I'll be tracking this. I am going to start, or I have started, a DIP program. I'm thinking about what to do about this going future. I have so much research to share, and you can just email me or comment in the video to talk more about that. All right, I'll be back. I'll be starting my series about how to actually retire with money that actually comes in. We'll start that up very, very soon. See you then.